6:25 the time this morning, and it's time for our Healthy Living segment with personal trainer Eric Stratman from CrossFit Eng in Cape Coral.
Yeah, and this morning he's getting us more on how food impacts physical and mental health. Good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic.
We're doing fantastic to start off this Saturday morning. Of course, Jesslyn, before the break, was talking about the gorgeous weather that's going to happen this morning. And I see on the whiteboard behind you, you have exercise versus nutrition. And I know for Jesslyn and I that switching up our diets and what you're actually eating every day, of course, helps you with a little bit of weight loss, but also is helping you, with your mental state.
Feel good.
Absolutely. You definitely want to have that feel good. And we put exercise versus nutrition because obviously we're an exercise facility, and a lot of people think that that's the lion's share of what your health journey is. And unfortunately, that's not the case, because it's really 30% exercise to 70% of your nutrition. And that's why we make such a focus on it, but to understand how you can really improve everyday life, your stress, your sleep, your time with your family, by just exercising and focusing on your nutrition each and every day. Because if you're having things that you're putting into your body that are allowing you to have more energy, to let your body's metabolism function at its highest, you're going to be able to have the highest level of life, meaning that you're going to have performance, your cognitive power. You're going to be able to have these moments throughout the day that you understand that you have everything going for you. So when you're setting yourself up, you're paying attention to your nutrition. You're thinking about the quality of food you're eating. What are you eating each day? Are you putting in things that are whole foods, that are really one ingredient? I know we've talked about this before. In one food, like if you have eggs is one ingredient. If you have an egg sandwich somewhere, not an ingredient, it still has eggs, but there's some processing going on. So understanding that, how much are you limiting? We understand that's our society. We're going to have processed foods. We need things on the go, but how much are you limiting that processed food? What is the quality of the food you're putting in? Next, which is most important, is the volume of food, because our body only requires a certain number of calories. And when we exceed that amount of calories we need every single day, then we're putting ourselves in a position that we have an overabundance of calories. So it slows the process of our metabolism, our energy, our ability to sleep, and our ability to process the calories we're putting in. Then we look at where are we eating, because I know a lot of us, especially when we're enjoying this news segment in the morning, we're having food or snacks with us in front of the TV. It's really trying to shift that and eating at the table and having your couch or your TV time without that food. And finally, what is most important is hydration. Trying to drink as much water as possible each day, and is that your go-to drink throughout the day? And obviously, when you shared that weather today, we know we have to definitely hydrate getting into the end of February and March here in Southwest Florida.
Absolutely.
It's going to be hot. And of course, Jesslyn's going to have more with the temperatures a little bit after 6:30. Always want to thank Eric Stratman from CrossFit Eng this morning, talking to us about, of course, how food, maybe even some of the beverages that you're having, impacts your mental state. All right, time now for our Healthy Living segment with personal trainer Eric Stratman from CrossFit Eng in Cape Coral.
Yeah, and this morning he's getting us more on how food impacts physical and mental health. Good morning.
Morning. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Doing even better now that Jesslyn said the temperatures are going to be in the 80s.
Yeah.
And we want to focus here on the whiteboard. You got a lot of stuff written down. I know Jesslyn and I aren't going to explain it, but I know we're talking about what you're putting into your body, of course, both foods, beverages, doesn't matter what it is, how that impacts both your mental and physical state.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I appreciate it, and I really like the weather forecast, because I'm representing Lee Lax. My son's got a lacrosse game today. I'm one of his coaches, and knowing that that heat and what's going to happen, we're definitely going to take advantage of the advice you've given us. But yeah, this is one of those rabbit holes you can dive into, and you can go. When you dive into this, when you look at inflammation and you look at when you're taking in a lot of sugar, processed food, excessive alcohol, these are things that cause inflammation in your body. And when we look at inflammation, as we said in the last segment, then it slows the process of you cognitively. So you're going to have trouble remembering things. You're going to have trouble processing things that you would do normally. Fine motor skills are going to be hindered there. But then we look at the body process and we go over and we see, when we look at the base and what the data shows us around chronic disease, autoimmune, this could be something as, minor as we look at asthma and diabetes all the way to cancer and Alzheimer's. These are, issues that are caused by inflammation. And it really starts with us. We have the ability to take control of these situations and live our best life and function cognitively and physically as much at a much higher level, because we're putting in things into our body that are good for us. And when we talk about that, it's staying away from the things that are processed, staying away from the things that are in those boxes. You talk about the grocery store and it's shopping on the outside of it, avoiding the fast food and restaurants as much as possible. We know it's not going to happen all the time, and we don't ever imply that we want people to be perfect. But if 75 or 80% of the time you're taking in whole foods, which is one ingredient foods, a high amount of fruits and vegetables, a high amount of low glycemic carbohydrates, and lean proteins, this is going to make a big difference. On top of that, it's so important to focus on your hydration. So, if you're drinking at least half your body weight in ounces per day, maybe a little bit more today, it's going to get a little warmer, but that is a bare minimum. So really focusing on how much you're drinking per day. And then just staying focused. When we talked about staying 75 or 80% on whole foods, how much volume are you bringing in? How many calories you're actually eating per day? Because that has a major effect on how your body's metabolism is going to function, how your body fat's going to be, as well as how your overall health is going to be indicated moving into these other issues that we don't even look at. How am I performing in the gym, or how do I feel every day? It's really, how is my overall health? So just paying attention to what you're putting in your body and making sure you're setting yourself up for success each and every bite.
There you go. Perfect.
Always want to thank Eric STRATMAN from CrossFit Eng for joining us this morning. And a lot of that starts with your morning routine. The
Absolutely.
coffees, the teas, whatever you're putting into some of those drinks in the morning can be a lot of sugars and milks and other things that aren't whole foods. Again, Eric STRATMAN from CrossFit Eng joining us this morning.